Chris Holm is a risk management consultant and joins us now from Jakarta. Chris, thanks for your time. Police have just said they think Daesh may be behind the attack. Would you agree with this?
I think it's pretty clear that a group that is connected in some way with Jemaah Islamiyah, which is the group that is basically Al-Qaeda in Indonesia. I think certainly Jemaah Islamiyah are the group that I think we've had people on the program just before talking about that have been credited for a whole number of attacks since the first really big blasts in 2002 that killed, close to a couple of hundred people, including a large number of Australians. So definitely, Jemaah Islamiyah are a group that have been part of. They're also sending people right now to Syria, for example. So Jemaah Islamiyah have got a history actually that goes back quite a long way, as we talked about before. And basically, the group has a split inside it. And half of Jemaah Islamiyah don't think that you should attack people in Indonesia. They don't think that it looks good for the struggle that Jemaah Islamiyah has. And that struggle is part and parcel of them wanting to establish an Islamic caliphate in Indonesia and in part of Southeast Asia, and also part of supporting Daesh in Syria. So it looks like a part of Jemaah Islamiyah that still do support doing local attacks are the group that is carrying out this attack. It's really not sure yet how sophisticated this group are. They certainly seem to have handguns. They seem to have grenades. If you look at the numbers that we know about from the dead at this point, at seven people, 5 of which are expected to be the attackers. Well, we could certainly find out that there are going to be more victims coming up. But the police say right now the situation is under control. If they don't discover more bodies, I think that it's fair to say that compared to some of the other attacks, this isn't the kind of really scary attack that happened in France, for example, where you had people returning from Syria, battle-hardened warriors who have access to high-quality automatic weapons. We saw one attacker who may have had a handgun. We're not sure about that. They certainly had explosive vests. And they, it looks at this point, and I hope that we aren't going to discover more bodies, but it looks like they had a relatively limited impact. And, they could have chosen better targets in the area. I mean, this is a very well-known area, but there's a huge tourist backpacker street about 500 metres down the road, where there are dozens and dozens of backpackers, and where Westerners are far more visible and obvious and gather in big groups. They attacked the Starbucks as a Western symbol of America and as a symbol. But inside that
okay,
Starbucks,
sorry, we'll have to leave it there. We'll talk to you a
Sure.
little bit later on. Thanks very much for that update, though.